Guys, welcome to this project. In this project, we are gonna talk about marketing funnel analysis. Marketing funnel analysis is kind of a skill that every single company needs it because every single company has a marketing team and they are willing to know the stages the customers hearing or seeing the product to become the real customer. All this journey is very important for the company. So this is some kind of transferable skill for the data analyst and sometimes for data scientists if they're going to work on a marketing team. So today we are going to talk about the marketing funnel analysis, and I'm going to show you how I do this project in a Google Sheet. And just because marketing analysis is so intuitive, we don't need to have so many fancy and luxury tools. Even we can use very simple and of course free tools for this kind of analysis. All right, the first thing is that let's see the data dictionary. We cannot do any project as long as we know the data. The first term is MQL. MQL stands for Marketing Qualified Lead, which is just every single lead that we have in our marketing team. The next one is the origin. It is just a marketing channel to bring the customer to our company. The first contacted, it is the first time the lead requested to contact the customers to sell the product to them. The next item is just the MQL ID. It is just the unique identifier for every single MQL. We have business segments, which shows the type of the product that every single lead sells. We have lead type that shows how a customer sells their product, and we have MOM, which stands for months to months. Now we can go to the next tab, which is all the questions that we are going to answer for this funnel analysis. We're going to answer which lead origin generates the most leads. We're going to answer which lead origin generates the most closed leads. How long does it take on average from the first contacted to close deal? How many leads have two generated months over months? Which lead type do we close the most deals from? And which business segments do we close the most deals from? All the 6 questions we are going to answer based on the data that we have. Jump to the data. The MQL tab is just the top level data for our funnel analysis that we would like to have. We have MQL ID, we have first contacted, landing page ID for the website, and origin. Also, we have closed deal data. These are all detailed information to show which lead, how they work for their marketing to sell the product to their customers. So we are going to join these 2 tables together and just grab some information from closed deal data to fill our main info. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is in column E, I'm going to just grab the year and months for first contact date. As you can see in column B, we have month, we have day, and we have year. But I don't like this kind of format. I would like to have months contacted. So I go here and say equal, and I'm going to say text. And when I select the text, I should refer which column I would like to select. So I go for this column. And the format I should put inside the quotation. So inside the quotation, I say YYY as the year -2M, and it shows the format that we would like to have. Hopefully you can see the autofill here. I just click on that to all my data have the same format. So from now on, instead of having this format for column B, we have this kind of format, which is months contacted. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is that, as you can see in MQL tab, I have MQL ID as a column A. And if I go to the closed deal data, I also have MQL ID. So I'm going to just find the closed deal match. It means I'm going to bring the MQL ID from the closed deal data to see which of them of these MQL data has closed deal data. So I can just simply use the VLOOKUP. So let's go for VLOOKUP. The first argument is that I'm going to select the columns that have MQL ID. And after that, I'm going to select the range for the data. So I go to the next tab, and this is the column from different tab, and just one. And let's open this one to have the guideline, and the index is 1. Definitely I need the 1, and I go for 0 to not sort it. That is it. And if I do that and I go all the way down, if I just scroll down, you can see for some of them we have NA. It means we don't have the same or match MQL ID found in closed deal. So to be honest, I don't like the NA or error, so I prefer to modify the formula. I go here and say if error formula, and this is the formula. We need 2 arguments. The first argument is just the value that we selected, and the second one is that value if error. If error happens, I just want to put the blank and just click on that, and again paste the formula. If I go all the way down, I need to just copy the formula, paste as formula. So we don't have any NA now, which is great. All right, the next column is that so far we know in column F, some of them have just MQL ID, some of them don't. For those they have, it means they win. And for those they don't have, it means they didn't win. So I'm going to have the binary column here. So just with the if condition. So I say if this argument, let's say, is equal blank, just say no. And otherwise just say yes. It means if this is no, it should be just, if this is no means they didn't win, and if this is yes means they win. If I click on that, if I scroll all the way down, you see, for example, here this one is yes because it has MQL ID, but this one is no just because this is the blank. All right, the next thing is just bring the won date. Means we are going to bring this column, won date, for every single MQL ID. So I need to do the same process what I did for column F. I only need to copy the formula, come back here and paste it there. But I need to modify 2 things. First of all, I'm going to modify the range. This is not the range for me. I go to close deals, and this is the range I select from column A all the way to column E. This is my range, and number columns is not 1. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is won date, so I put 5. And after that, click. This is the date for win date. Again, I just paste it down to fill all my data. As you can see, for some of them we don't have because they are not winner and they are no. So this is won date column. All right, the next column is days to close. Days to close is the differences between the win date and the first contact date. So we should find the difference days between these 2 dates. So I go for column I, and I start to write the formula. The function is dateDiff. I select the dateDiff. DateDiff has 3 arguments. First of all, we should go for start date, end date, and the unit. So start date is just, let me just close that. Start date is the first contact date. The end date is the won date. And the last one is the unit. The unit, we need to have the day. So this is the difference. So I autofill, and for example, for this ones, contact date was 20th of January, but the win date was 4 days later, 24, and all the way down. You see for some of them we have error. So we can handle these things also with if error. If error, again, this is the value, but if this is error, just put nothing. Just let me paste the formula, paste value formula. We don't have anything because they are error. All right, now we have the data that we would like to have, and now we can start to analyze the data. Let me just format a little bit data, just change the font a little. Now just the format for header. There you go. Okay, now we are gonna start analysis from now on. Okay, let's go for the first question. The first question is asking which lead origin generates the most leads. If I come back to the data, we should answer this question with some kind of pivot tables. Okay, for answering this question, I select the data that I would like to have and go to Insert and Pivot Table. Since I don't have any prepared sheet, I go for the new sheet and hit for Create. Now we have all the columns from the tables, and the pivot table is ready to start analyzing. Okay, I also want to hide these sheets for close deal dates to just make everything neat and clean. All right, but which columns we need for analyzing? Let me go to the MQL data. We would like to count number of the rows for every single origin. How many origin do we have for each kind of origin? And then how many unique MQL ID as a closed deal match each of them has. If I come back to the question, you said which lead origin generates the most leads. If it means if they have the closed deal match, these are some kind of MQL ID they generate. So I go to the pivot table. So for the rows, I would like to have generate. So I put the generates in the rows to have all kind of generators they have. But for values, I need to have two values. One is number of the rows for every single origin. So I go for origin just for value. And this is, let me just make it a bit wide. It should be count A, just because I would like to count all the rows if they are not blank. And I need one more column, which is closed deal match. And this should be unique. So summarized by, I go for count unique. And I would like to sort it based on the closed deal match. If I go here, sorted by closed deal match, and it should be descending. And I can also just change the title. We can say number of origin, and we can say unique. We can say number of unique closed deal match. So what does it mean? It means, for example, organic search, 2,296 customers just use that origin, but only 271 of them became the customer. Or for social, we have 1,350 users or viewer, but only 75 of them became the customer for that origin. All right, now I would like to have the conversion rate. So I just format it here and say conversion rate. The conversion rate is very simple formula. It just divides, and I would like to divide this number. I would like to divide this number by this number, and all the way down. I need to have the percentage. That's it. This is just the conversion rate for each. You see the least conversion rate tags to the other origin, and the highest conversion rate is for unknown. If we ignore the unknown, we can say the paid search is the most conversion rate for this analysis. Also, we can draw a chart for these pivot. All right, for drawing a chart, I select all the area, just not the total. Go to the insert and go for the chart. Let's see which kind of chart do we have. This is the chart that suggested to us. I guess this chart is good because it's some kind of bar chart, and I'm going to have it based on number of the origin and number of the unique close deal. All right, let's see what we can do for this chart. The x-axis is origin, which is fine. We don't need the aggregate. If I go for aggregate, nothing happens. Even we can switch the columns and rows like that way, but it's not very useful for us, so I don't like to switch it. We can go for some kind of customization for chart style. I guess the background is good. I don't like to change anything here. If you would like to design it, we can go for 3D. Not at this moment. The only thing is that I would like to just change the chart title. We can just copy the questions and come back here. Let's go for charts. Paste it there. We can say lead origin generates the most leads. This is just the title. The font is good, only bolded, and it's gonna be white. Okay, font size, I guess this is not bad. For the series, we can do whatever we want, like this one. It is just a design. I don't like to go into detail for designing. Okay, so this is the first question that we could answer. So we can see based on the analysis shows organic search stands for the highest number. Let me just bring the data label. If I go here, yeah. If I go for data label, that's it. We have data label for each. We can see the organic search. It stands for the highest one, which is 2296. And the least one is just other publicities with only 65. Okay, now let's go for question number 2. Which lead origin generated the most closed deals? Again, we need to have some kind of pivot table. So I prefer to duplicate this one. And I remove everything so we can start from scratch. I just edit the pivot table and remove everything to have everything from scratch for this question. For answering this question, I would like to have two things: the origin and the months contacted. If I go there for months contacted, it should be the row. And as you can see, just because we are using the format year and months, they are automatically sorted. But for the columns, I would like to have the origin. So I select the origin and put as a columns, and you can see we have different origins for different columns. And for the values, again, I need origin, only the count A. So the total should be 8,000 number of the records that we have. If I just a little bit narrow for this one, that's awesome. All right, just because we are dealing with some kind of chart as the time interval, I would like to go with some kind of analysis for chart. Again, I select the area, not for total, only this area. I go for insert, go for chart, and I don't like this chart for this kind of analysis. I would like to change it to line chart. And this is the chart that I would like to have. And I know this is a little bit messy, because we have many origin. That's why this chart is a little bit messy. As you can see, for example, this one, this is for let me see, this is for unknown. You can see we have very fluctuated also for the rest. We can have the smooth, because as you can see, it's very curvy. We can have maximize, or for the null values, we don't need to be worried because we used if error in our formula. For the chart title, I don't like to make the chart much more messy, so I don't put anything. Only for this section, let me go for legend. The position, I would like to go with top. Maybe this is much better. All right, this is the final answer for question number 2. And as you can see, we see the distribution for every single month all the way. We can see organic search 2296 has the highest, and among this one in January of 2018, we see the highest number of the origin. All right, now we can go for question number 3. How long does it take on average from first contacted to a closed deal? All right, for answering this question, again, we need, let me just add the question number in front of each to make sure which tab is referring to which question. Okay, let's continue with question number 3. I go here and make a double click. I remove everything, and here I just remove all the columns and rows to start from scratch. Okay, we need to have 2 things. We need to have months contacted and days to the close. For each of them, we can find the average. So I go here. So number of the rows should be months contacted. This is in the rows. For the values, we should for days to close as the values. But we don't need sum, we need the average. And as you can see, in 2017, June, we have error because we don't have any data on that. So 0 over by 0, we get null, or we get just error, so we can just totally. So even here, I can go for filter and add it, for example, months contacted. If I just exclude this one, and okay, so the error is gone. Now I select all of them, go for insert, go for charts, and there you go. This is just the charts that we have. So we need to do something. For example, I would like to just add the labels. Go here, data labels. Even we can have the trend line to see the average. It is just going down, which is pretty good because it means when the time progresses, the average for the close is becoming low. So also, what else we can do for the title? Average of days to close. Average. Okay. For the horizontal, we can say year, months. For vertical, we can say average of days to close. All right. This is the question number 3, and you can see in July 2017, the average of days to close was almost 398, but we reached to 33 on May 2018. All right, now we can go for question number 4. How many leads have we generated months over months. Okay, for this question, I can use this sheet, and as you can see, months to months, it is almost doubling. From 2017 to 2018, you see almost doubling. Here we were almost 100, and here we were almost 200. So we can say for question number 4, almost doubling. So we answered these questions. All of them came from the MQL data, but these two data are coming from the other data set, which is the closed. Okay, the next question is asking which lead type do we close the most deals from? If I go to the new data set, we have the lead type here. So we would like to know how many rows each of these leads type have. So for this time, I create a new pivot. I select all the data and go for insert and pivot table, go for new sheet. And this is just question 5. Okay, so here, as I said, we need the lead type as a rows and number of the records. So I go for lead type as a values. As you can see, we have blank lead type in our data. So I go for filter lead type and I say show all data except the blank one. Okay, for the chart, I prefer to go with pie chart because we have less number of the labels, so it's not too messy. I go for chart, and this time I go for the pie chart. And just like that, we can also change the title or anything. Let me just say distribution of lead type. And as you can see, the percentage for each of the lead type. For example, we can see the online medium, it counts for the highest percentage, almost 40%, compared to the online top, which stands for only 1.7%. So this is question number 5, and we can move on to the last question. Okay, the last question is asking which business segment do we close to the most deals from? Same as the question number 5, but the different columns. So the chart, I would like to remove the chart. The columns that we need, it's not the lead type. This time, we need to have the business type. The business segment. Go for the rows. This is all business segments. And also we need to have business segments as a value. Again, we have the blank. So I go for just add the filter, business segments, and it shouldn't be blank. Again, I select all of them. This is just categorical and numerical. So we can go with the bar chart. And this bar chart, I'm going to sort it or ascend it based on the values. Before doing that, let me just go for number of business segments. This is just a title. Go for vertical axis. We can just remove that one. We don't need it. All right. Now, I would like to have the data label. Again, I go for customize, the series, and data label here. Now, again, I don't need also the title for the horizontal. That's it. And I only need to sort it. I only need to sort based on the values. The better way is that do with the pivot table. So we can sort values with count of the business, and it should be descending. And as you can see, chart is updated automatically. All right, and this is the last question. As you can see, the home decor stands for the highest number of the business segments. All right, you see, we just did very simple funnel analysis for marketing with not a fancy tools like Python, SQL. Definitely, we could use that one, but I just wanted to show you even with the free tools like the Google Sheet, we can do that. And at the end of the day, the stakeholders, the managers, the marketing team need the results, need the analysis, and they don't care about the tools that we are going to use. I just uploaded these sheets on my GitHub. The link is in the description below of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for your watching.